Okay, so this is going to be the solution for this word pair and word pair list problem. Okay, so let's read what it says. This question involves reasoning about pairs of words that are represented by the following word pair class. So we have this class, public class word pair. This is the constructor, public word pair. It takes in a string, which is the first string that's in the pair, and then a second string, which is the second in the pair. There's two strings, basically. And then there's two methods, get the first, which returns the first string, get second, which returns the second string. And they did not give you the code for the constructor. They did not give you the code for these methods, implementation not shown. Um, but for the solution, I'm going to write those because it'll just make the code run and you can actually test it. So I have JDoodle. Let me erase this stuff. Similar to what I talked about on Wednesdays, we create new classes below main, at least when we're working in JDoodle. So I'm going to create a new class, public class word pair. I'm going to add a static because it's all in one file. Public static class word pair. So I always talk about data, then constructor, then methods. So for the data, there's two pieces of data, basically just two strings. For the constructor, we're just going to initialize these two strings, and they gave you what the constructor looks like here. Public word pair string, I'll just call it F, string S, first equals F, second equals S. So that's a constructor. We've now initialized these two fields or data. And then the methods are really simple. Public string get first. So I'll just return first. Public string get second, return second. Okay, so I think that's it for this class. We can do a quick test. Word pair WP1 equals new word pair. Okay, so we can just put let's see, just put my teacher's name, Harry Smith, and then system.out.println wp1.getFirst. Get second. Okay, let's run this, see if we get the right answer. Okay, so we create a class and then we call our methods get first, get second. So it seems to do what we want it to do. Okay, so we don't really need this. We'll comment it out for now. Let's go back to the problem. So now we have this class written, and then here's kind of the setting up the question. You will implement a constructor and another method for the following word pair list class. So this is a second class that they're telling us about. Public class word pair list. The data is right here. It's a private array list of word pairs. So it's going to have a bunch of different word pairs. So this is the data, this is the constructor. The constructor takes in a bunch of words, and then it has one method which is called numMatches, and they tell you later what exactly that means, numMatches, to be implemented in part B. So I think we'll just start with part A, which is to fill in the constructor. So we can at least start, this class. So public static class word pair list. The data, so data private array list of word pairs. and they called it all pairs. Constructor is public word pair list. It takes in an array of strings called words to do in part A, and then there's one method, public int num matches to do in part B. For now, let's return 0. Okay, so part A, write the constructor for the word pair list class. The constructor takes in an array of strings, so we see that, an array of strings as a parameter, and initializes the instance variable all pairs. So it's going to initialize this variable right here to an array list of word pair objects. A word pair object consists of a word from the array with a word that appears later in the array. The all pairs list contains word pair objects, words at index I, comma, words at index j for every I and j, where I is greater than 0 and j is greater than I, and both are less than words.length. Each word pair object is added exactly once to the list. The following examples illustrate two different word pair list objects. Okay, so this part is a little complicated. This 0 less than I less than j less than words.length. But this example kind of helps clarify what they're saying here. They have this array of strings. There's 3 parts, 1, 2, and 3. And then they call the constructor passing this in. So after the code segment has executed, the all pairs instance variable will contain the following word pair objects in some order. 1 goes with 2, so it's like this one goes with this one. 1 goes with 3, so the first one goes with this one, and then 2 and 3. This one goes with this one. So they're basically saying you have these 3 strings, now group them into pairs, do every combination of 2. So that would mean 1 and 2, that's one combination, 1 with 3, that's another combination, and then the last combination is 2 and 3. Those are the only unique pairs that you can make with just these 3 strings. Okay. So here they give you another example. So they give you an array of strings which has 4 strings. So the way you would do this is you say, let's start here, and let's pair it with the one right next to it. So that's the first word pair. Then let's pair it with the next one, so the and the. And then let's pair it with the last one, the with merrier. Okay, right here. So now we've done all the possibilities where the first string is the, right? We did this one with here, here, and here. So now we just move on to the second string, more. And then you don't go backwards because they're telling you that once you're here, you just go to, you pick words that are after it. That's basically what they're saying. So when you're doing the next round of pairs, you start here and then you just go with things that are after it. So you do more with the, that's right here. Then you do more with merrier, that's right here. And then you're done with pairs where the more is the first one, so you move on to here. So the, you don't go backwards. You just go forward. So the with merrier, that's right here, and then you're all done. If you were to move on to merrier, there's nothing after it, so there's no pair that you put with merrier. So that's kind of how it works at a conceptual level, and now you have to write the code that does the exact same thing. So yeah, I think this is a really good example. So let's try to copy this and then try to write the code that will do the work for us. So So the more the merrier. We'll call this string. They named it fair phrase. Okay. Word pair list example 2 equals new word pair list, and we're going to pass in this phrase. Okay, so then let's just run this code, make sure we didn't make any mistakes. Okay, I made a mistake. Cannot find symbol array list. Okay, so I think everyone remembers this error. Just do an import java.util.arraylist. I think that's correct. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so it doesn't print out any errors, so I think we're okay. So now this line is calling this code, and we have to fill in this code. What this code does is it's going to go through this array, and it's going to fill in all pairs. So the first thing I would do is just write some very simple code. So we have this array, so let's go through this whole array. So for int I equals 0, I less than words.length, I plus plus. System.out.println words at I. Okay, so this should just print out the more the merrier. So let's run that. Okay, the more the merrier. Okay, good. And then what you want to do is you want to pair each of these with the words that come afterwards. Okay, so if you kind of think about how we were doing this by hand, when you're at this location, you're visiting, you want to pair this with everything that comes after it. So you want to pair it with more, you want to pair it with the, you want to pair it with merrier. So we have the first part of the pair, which is the more the merrier, and then we want the second part of the pair to be more than the than merrier. So that's like another for loop, right? Because it's going through another list of things, and that for loop starts at I plus 1. Okay, so let's write this j less than words. Okay, so I'm going to print out words at j. I'm going to put a tab in front so it's a little bit clearer. Okay, so I'm going to put some other stuff here. Okay. Okay, so I is 0, so we're at the first word inside this array. And then I is 1, we're at the second word. I is 2, we're at the third word. I is 3, we're at the fourth word. And then when you're at I equals 0, you want to start j at 1 after. So you're at the second location, and then you're at the third, and then the fourth. So you're basically saying, okay, we take the first word in the array, and we pair it with the second word, the third word, and the fourth word. And then when you move to the second word of the array, you want to pair it with the third word and the fourth word. And then when you're at the third word in the array, you want to pair it with the fourth word. And that's it. Once you're at the fourth word, that's the last word in the array. You cannot pair it with anything, so it has nothing to go next to it. So you can kind of see these are the 6 combinations that are listed here, right? So all we have to do is we could actually put this here, and let's run this. We could actually put this all in one line too. The goes with more, the goes with the goes with merrier. Next word, more goes with the, more goes with merrier, the goes with merrier. And maybe it'll help if I print this out first. System.out, do that here. Okay, so here's the array. We take the first one, the, and we pair it with the second one, pair it with the third one, pair it with the fourth one. Now we go to the next word, more. We pair it with the third word, we pair it with the fourth word. Now we move on, pair the third word with the fourth word. Okay, so this looks pretty good, and then the last step is we just have to create a new word pair. Word pair WP equals new word pair. From words at I, words at J, and then we want to add it to this array list. So before we do anything, we should initialize this array list. Word pair. It starts out empty, and then we'll add WP. So we have all pairs dot add WP. Okay. And then you can, let's run this, make sure we didn't make any mistakes. It does run, and then let's print out this array list here. System.out.println all pairs equals and we'll print it out after the for loop, and it should be empty over here and then filled in over here. So let's run that. Okay, so here all pairs is empty over here, and then all pairs over here, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things in it, and this is obviously not that helpful, so let's write a toString method inside here, and that'll make it print something nicer. Public string toString, and we can return a string that just says it just prints out the two words inside parentheses. Okay, so let's run this again. Okay, so all pairs is an array list, and there's 6 things in it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these are the same combinations that are listed here. Okay. Okay, so now our constructor is done. We have initialized this all pairs with the correct things here. So I'm going to take out some of the print lines. They're not needed anymore because we're done with our code and our code is correct. But I'll leave it there just so we can bring it back if we need to later. Okay, so that's part A of the question. Let's look at what else it asks us to do. Okay, part B. Write the word pair list method numMatches. This method returns the number of word pair objects in all pairs for which the two strings match. Okay, so what they're saying is look at all these 6 things here and then check. Are these two the same? That's a no. Are these two the same? Yes, so that's, let's keep a count, so that's 1. Are these two the same? No. 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 So the numMatches would be 1. There's only one of these 6 things where the two words are the same. Okay. So the code is just very similar to what I just said out loud. You have to go through every element of all pairs. So for loop, you can do this, I less than all pairs dot size, I plus plus. Let's just do a print line just to make sure this is good. All pairs dot get 0. Okay, so it didn't print anything. There's no errors, but we should call this method example 2.num matches. Okay, so int num matches equals this, and let's print that out. Okay, so this, we want it to print out 1 in this case. Right now it's going to print out 0 because we just returned 0. But yeah, we're still writing the code. So the main thing is this part right here. So I made a little mistake here. This needs to be I, right? If you just print out the location, or the first element, you're just going to get the same thing every time. We want to change this 0 to an I. Let's run that again. Okay, so now we get the 6 combinations. And now we just check if the first is equal to the second, right? So word pair, every element of all pairs is a word pair. So what we can do is we can say word pair WP equals all pairs dot get I, and then we just say we need to keep track of a counter. It's going to be 0 if WT.get first equals WP.get second count plus plus. Okay. And then we can actually do another print line just to give us some information. Okay, made a little mistake here. I think it's just that. Okay, cool. So here's what our code is doing. It's saying these are not equal. That's correct. These are equal, right? Of course, the and the. Not equal, not equal, not equal, not equal. Okay. And then num matches, we just have to make this return count, right? Because count is the number of times that they're equal. So if we execute, now we get the right answer. Okay. So that's it for this question. I'm going to take out these print lines. Num matches is 1. We can do another example. Let's see here, just to give our code another test. Let's try this one. Num matches equals example 3 dot num matches. Okay, let's run that, and it should give us 2 because that's what they highlighted here. They said these are the same, these are the same. Okay, 2, perfect.